activities we are understanding. What are the different activities of the Jenkins? Yeah, the first to set up the master, then go for this defining the slaves. Where do you want to run the jobs? There's a master and slave configuration. Then what are the pipeline we are defining about it as a pipeline point of view? All the tools we need to identify. There's a Maven tool or a Docker tool. So in the job you are going to use it, some Kubernetes is nothing but Kubernetes tools required. Or in the job you are going to use it, some Gradle is nothing but Gradle tool should be configured. Yeah, so on the base of the job requirement, the global level, we have some configurations and the tools configurations, which we need to do that. But all these tools and configurations, how do you get it is plugins, which we need to manage it, installing the plugins or updating the plugins. And once the plugins have been configured as per the tool requirement, the tools are required to configure it. And then the securities we have, yes, users point of view, and as well as groups point of view, securities which we can configure. And finally, there's a defining the jobs. Yeah, there are the different activities of the Jenkins. This we have, this which we coming that one by one. So now let's go for that. How to set up the Jenkins first master one, and we look into that like a Jenkins console. Then we go for that slaves configuration to the master. This was thing which we had it yesterday. So any queries, questions before moving to the setting of the Jenkins?
If you run the job, where it will store the, if I run the job in a slave mission, where the logs it will be stored? Details on slave or master?
Master node itself. On the master it stores. I'll show this practically. Wait some time. Once there's a master and slave has been configured, jobs and the jobs console outputs where it is storing. This will observe this on the master node.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to launch this first master to configure it. One EC2 instance. So let me log into that. Yeah, before the cluster, all that nodes I have deleted, but only cops I kept it here. Remaining all that the cluster I deleted, which is no more required for the timing. Now let me go for launching one more instance for about our Jenkins master. Yeah, you can take the CentOS system, or we can use it. Yes, Amazon Linux to ML. Let me go for, but packages, Jenkins installation packages wise that is different on the base of the type of the OS which you are taking about it. Other than this, the Jenkins activities are the same. Only installation process is different. Even you can install the Jenkins on the Windows also. Yeah, T2 micro. The basic system I'm using. I'm not going to take this any specifications over here. Yeah, storage, default storage, and let me add the tag as this is Jenkins master. Security group, yes, let's go for this 22. But I have already the security groups. Instead of creating the new one, let me try to use this. We have so many ports here, it is enabled. Okay, I'm using the 22 and 80. Actually, we need to have that 8080 port that is required to access the Jenkins. I'll change it that later. But let me go for using this for the timing 22, the security group, which is available. And let me launch it with the key pair. Yes, what is the key pair? That's where I hope so recently which have created Docker Mumbai, right? Yes, I have this key. I'm going to use this key to connect it to the system. Yeah, where you find it, there's a Jenkins documentation is the official site of the Jenkins, that is jenkins.io is official site. Yeah, here you can find that documentation of the Jenkins. So if you browse that, the documentation, yeah, how do we install the Jenkins using the Jenkins pipeline, blue version. There are like different approaches and how do you do the troubleshooting, and some tutorials also which you can find it, especially for the Jenkins pipeline. And pipeline will come back. This is one of the important thing they are expecting this from the Jenkins. How do you implement the sequence of the stages and the steps in the pipeline? Yeah, so how do you secure the Jenkins? How do you administer the Jenkins? That is a plugins management, all that. You can find that a documentation the over here, or you can go to this download options. Yes, it has been given that a different the ways to install the Jenkins on the basis of about our yes, like a requirement which we can use it. But Jenkins wise, whenever you are trying to download it, we have the two types of distributions while downloading. One is a stable one. This is recommended for the production environment, stable versions, LTS, that is long-term support. Release baselines are chosen every 12 weeks from the stream of regular releases. Yes, we will get it every 4 weeks. That's release stable releases, which include bug and security fixing, and every 12 weeks from the stream of regular releases, that is a major or minor releases, which is a stable one. This side, all that distributions which you have, these are all the stable release, which can be preferable for production. But here you see this regular releases, that's weekly releases. So these are all we receive that every week. The patches are very every week. The bug fixes from that the releases point of view. But this is R&D environments we use it, but we don't use it this kind of the distributions for the production. This is not recommended for the production. Yeah, there are like weekly release and stable release. And stable release latest version, if you just observe the 2.33, that is a version. Yeah, 2.332. But here weekly releases, they have the some advanced one, that is 2.338. So once this is stabilized, then they will move to the stable release. Weekly release first they do that, and everything is stable and we don't see this any exceptions or the issues from the clients. Then this will be moved to that the stable release. That is okay. The Jenkins team is going to manage that, all these releases. As once we identify that, yeah, there's like a type of this installation process. As you can download the WAR file, you see that you can download the WAR file, and WAR file we can deploy to the Tomcat server, and we can access the Jenkins. That is one approach. Or we have the Docker image. Docker image, pull it and Docker run it, and Jenkins, the container, you can start it. But I have some example on it. In that one section, we have separate project. How do we launch the Docker, Jenkins on the using the Docker image with a Node.js application? I have this one project where you can refer that project. With the Docker, how do we launch the Jenkins? Are Ubuntu Debian based system solution, CentOS based, Windows based, or like yeah, the Mac OS based, Fedora based, SUSE Linux based? There are different solutions that is available. Suppose you are using the CentOS. If you just go to here CentOS, then you will get it the Jenkins Red Hat package. There are the two packages that we need to add it. Download that this repository information and add to that repos file, and then keys also download it. So once that is done, then go for that installing the Java, as Java is a prerequisite for the Jenkins. Install the Java, the font configuration Java 11 OpenJDK, and install the Jenkins. This is about Red Hat solution like that. if you are planning to install that, say Ubuntu, yes, Ubuntu, if you click on, yes, this is the repository. First you need to add it, and then add the Jenkins apt repository entry, and finally update it and install the JDK and install the Jenkins. Yeah, on the base of the type of the systems which are using that, the ways distribution point of view, we can use it, or we can find that the distribution model from the Jenkins, and we can use it to install it. But now we are using about the Jenkins, the AMI point of view, Amazon Linux to AMI, right? The EC2 instance, whatever we have created, that is, we have used Amazon Linux to AMI. But how do we install this on the Amazon Linux to AMI OS? CentOS, okay, Fedora, they have given that. But AMI is not having the same repository approaches to use it as a CentOS. It doesn't support it. Yes, like if you just browse it, the Google install Jenkins on Amazon Linux AMI 2. Amazon Linux AMI. Yeah, if you refer about it, the blogs. Let me try to find it. Yeah, I'm update the system and I'm install the Java, and previous Javas, if you have anything you can remove it. Okay. The package is Jenkins CA, Red Hat Jenkins repo. Okay, sudo rpm and install Jenkins, service Jenkins start it, and check config and start about it. So it has been given normal, like here you see that importing about it from the Red Hat Jenkins CI. So this is repository key and this is a repository file. But I hope so we have this different also as a latest point of view. Let me try to check it. That's the package name. Okay, it shows that's also Docker wise we have the different one. I didn't remember exactly. Okay, the Jenkins point of view, the Red Hat repository file, you can use it and download it and update it and install the Jenkins. Let me try it, and if I have any issues, we'll come back to that. Yeah, the Red Hat solution itself, it is showing that on the Amazon Linux to AMI. So let's try that and to use it to set up the Jenkins. Yes, I'm going to use it, this Jenkins master. Let me log in. Let me open in mobile XTEM. Yeah, on the basis of the type of the distribution which you are using, we need to find the solutions. But Linux to AMI, Amazon Linux to AMI, still that is normal Red Hat package itself. Fine, let's try it. So we are using Docker Mumbai, right? Okay, good. First of all, let me update it. The system. Yeah, so updation has been done. I'm just referring this documentation. Let me try to use this, like Java 8 has to be installed, the first thing, and then installing about this repository and download these packages and install the Jenkins. Let me try it. So the Java 8 we are going to install it. So this package is not available. Or is it available? Okay, good. Yeah, so that's a package. And next, I'm trying to download that the Red Hat repository file. Yes, this is the duplicate we are using, and we are trying to download that repo file. Okay, that has been downloaded, and let's import that key. Okay, now let's go for installing the Jenkins. On which machine you are installing the Jenkins? That's node we call it as a master node. Now we are setting up the master node. Yeah, Amazon Linux to AMI is not having any separate the packaging approach. Even you can use it like a Red Hat a repository to install the Jenkins. I have so somewhere Docker we are observing this, right? The Amazon Linux to AMI was having the separate repository, but Jenkins is normal Red Hat repository itself still. And the latest this is the latest version which is trying to download it. That is a 2.338 version. Yeah, the repo file whatever we have downloaded, that's going to store it in repos.d file. Yeah, what are the file we have imported? This is jenkins.repo file. Yeah, this is storing this in etc mrepos.d file, which contains about the mirror list information. And that key also we have enabled. Yeah, once the Jenkins has been installed with that package, that is install Jenkins. The next thing is Jenkins is the process, right? It is not like as a packaged one. Yeah, the package is required to get it all the configuration files and as well as the start script, stop scripts of the Jenkins. So whenever we are installing the package is nothing but all the libraries, binaries, configuration file that we get it. But we need to manage the Jenkins as a process. Yeah, so the next options what you have is we need to start the Jenkins. That is using systemctl, start Jenkins, stop Jenkins. How do we have that approach? Yes, those activities we need to perform it. Yeah, once this installation is done, let's go for starting the Jenkins and enabling the Jenkins. Public key for the Jenkins is not installed. Key ID, no key. but we have downloaded, right, the import key. Okay, maybe something is wrong in this command. Let me try it. Let me try once again. No key is available. So what did they say? Explicitly download it. Where is that? Yeah, this is Jenkins key. Install Jenkins. Something is wrong. Let's try to find it. So GPG signature check for the RPM is not allowing. No GPG check. etcm.conf file. Let me go for the server. Okay, so that's done now. There is some key is not authenticating. That key wise some issue. Fine. Now the Jenkins has been installed. There's a three steps. First, download the repository, and the second one which we have this is download the key, but the GPG key, whatever it has been downloaded, maybe it is invalid. That's why it is not able to validate it. So we can refer this official the Jenkins page. So that is recommended. But maybe okay, anyway, fine. So that's we have disabled the GPG check which is required, and we have installed the Jenkins. But installing the Jenkins is not enough. What we need to do is, yes, let's go for starting the Jenkins. This is also one of the, how do we have the Tomcat process? The Jenkins is also one of the process which is running on port 8080. Yeah, systemctl. First, let's check the status of the Jenkins. Yeah, that is inactive. Let's go for starting the Jenkins. Yeah, start the Jenkins. Let's check the status once again. Yes, now it is active and up and running of the Jenkins. And during boot up time, automatically to start it, let me enable this Jenkins also. Yeah, so that's about the Jenkins. Now if we verify, net start command -nltp. Yes, 8080 process is up and running, and it is the listening that. Yes, this is the Jenkins port, but the default Jenkins port is 8080. Now we go back to the browser and we try to access the Jenkins to perform the activities. But before that, security group is enabled for this port or not. Let's check it. Let's go back to the AWS console. One more point, in the next 1 week we are going to use this node as a standard node. I don't want to change this public IP address whenever I stop it and start it. So first of all, let me configure this one standard IP address for this Jenkins master, the public IP address. How to configure that? What is the approach that we can use it? What is the default behavior of the public IP address? Whenever we stop it and start it, it is going to create a new IP address, right? But we don't want that new IP address each and every time. We need that one standard IP address. Then how do we define that? Elastic IP, EAP. Let's take this one, Elastic IP. Yeah. So let's take this one, Elastic IP from the Amazon pool. And let's associate this to that EC2 instance. Associate Elastic IP address to the instance we are going to, but which instance is? This is about Jenkins master. Yeah, now we have assigned standard IP address to that Jenkins master. Yes, this is IP address, and every day I can use it with the same IP address. And port is 8080. But 8080 is not enabled the security group point of view. Let's go back to the security group. Inbound rules. You know already all these things, right? This is not the new concept. For the timing, I don't need that from this host 80 ports. I'm going to delete these rules. I'm going to add that 8080 rule. Let's save the rule. Let's refresh the Jenkins. Still it is not ready. It should get ready. Let's is it that IP address? Let me check that IP address of that instance. 213.254. Okay. Then what could be the reason? refresh the AWS console. No, we don't see. Okay, good. Yeah, actually, this is the IP address. Fine. Yeah, good. It was not refreshed. That's IP address. I was thinking this was refreshed. Okay, good. Yeah, so this is about Jenkins home directory. Yes, now we need to, we are able to access this page is nothing but Jenkins has been set up on the master node and it is ready now. But that's not enough. Now we need to configure the Jenkins to use this. Yes, let's go for that. Complete these steps, then we can configure the Jenkins. The first of all, we need to unlock the Jenkins in the first step. Unlock Jenkins. What is that point is? So normally to access about this any applications, we need to have that username and passwords, right? Yeah, the Jenkins, whenever we install it, it is created one initial admin password. Yeah, if you're going to set up that initial admin password is required, and you need to define that's initial admin password. Where that initial admin password is stored by the Jenkins whenever we install the Jenkins. So this is a location where lib Jenkins in that secrets folder, and here we have one file initial admin password. In this file we have the password, which we can continue to the next step. That is authentication point of view. Yeah, the varlib Jenkins, and this is the important directory, the Jenkins point of view. Yes, all the configurations of the jobs and all the build histories and all the jobs related the logs, all the plugins which are configuring to the Jenkins, the tools which are configuring to the Jenkins, everything that will be stored in this location. This one we can say Jenkins home directory. Varlib Jenkins. Yes, here what are the nodes we configure, jobs we configure, everything that will be stored here. And in this location, in the secrets folder, we have the initial admin password. Let me copy this and let's go back to the server. Because of the network, maybe it is dropped. Let me log in. Okay, now the public IP address is changed, right? So let me close this tab. So this public IP address we have changed. So let me use it the latest public IP address which we are using EIP. Here is that file Docker Mumbai. Yeah, what would like to check it? So what is the main home directory of the Jenkins is varlib Jenkins. So this is about our home directory. And here you see this all the users, whatever you created, users information, nodes information, jobs, whatever you're creating, jobs and jobs related build histories, and the secrets, whatever you configure, plugins you configure, everything that will be storing here. This is the important directory of the Jenkins. And in this directory, the what we needed is initial admin password, right? In the secret section, secrets folder, we have the initial admin. So what is that file? It is not having any permissions. Let me check it. Yeah, so this is the initial admin password. So let's try to get this. Yeah, this is a password of that, the Jenkins. So let me copy this and let's go to that browser and paste it. Yeah, directly use this command. I mean, I was just showing about it variable Jenkins. Actually, this is not having the permission to show that. Yeah, directly use it sudo cat and this file. So then you will get it the password. Let's continue this. Yes, if that authentication is successful. Now it is prompting for that. Do you want to install the plugins? Yes, it is suggesting some plugins. Yeah, install plugins the Jenkins community finds most useful. The most useful plugins you can install it, or if you have any specific plugins to manage it, yes, you can do. But for the time, let's go for the suggested plugins. But later we can do identifying the plugins. We can uninstall it or install it. We can customize the plugins through the plugins management. We'll come back to that. Yeah, go for installing the suggestible plugins. You see this, it is going to try to install the Git plugin, pipeline plugin. There's one more important one, and the mailer email to send it, and SH agents to configure it, Gradle. Yeah, these are all some like the most useful plugins. It is trying to install it. Yes, workspace cleanup. But to install all these plugins, internet which we have the dependency, net is required. Yeah, it's taking the time to install it. Yeah, once these plugins have been installed, the next step what we're expecting is to log into the Jenkins. We need to have that one, the username and passwords. That's authentication. Yeah, you can create about custom username and password in this section. We don't need to use it each and every time initial admin password. Now we can create the custom user and password, which we use it to log into the Jenkins. Yeah, username and the password. I'm just defining that the basic password itself. Full name of this user admin and email address, some dummy email ID. Yeah, so these are all the properties. So now we need to use it this username and password for the next login to this Jenkins. Yes, it is created user, and finally instance configuration. So what is the Jenkins URL? Yeah, this is about Jenkins URL. So let's keep it as it is. Or if you have this any DNS name to access about the Jenkins, this DNS name will configure over here. Yeah, but it is anyway public static IP address we have defined, and this URL is not going to change it, right? IP address is not going to change it. Or if we use it a normal public IP address instead of elastic IP, today this URL, but tomorrow once we stop the instance and start the launch the system, then public IP address is going to change it. Then again you need to change the Jenkins URL. Otherwise, some of the functionality sublinks internet is going to get failure. So that's point of view. Take this one standard IP address and assign to the Jenkins. The node, only master node is required, worker node is not required. Yeah, this is the URL which will be used by the Jenkins to communicate to this agent's point of view or internal to many of the configurations of the Jenkins. Yeah, let's save it and finish. Yeah, now the Jenkins is ready. Your Jenkins setup is complete. Start using Jenkins.